Well, Coach, we talked about at halftime, this was going to be a difficult game. They're a team that, when they get hot, are really good, but also can have points of weakness that I felt like we capitalized on tonight. But, going into the half, we only had a 3-point lead, and we really weren't playing our best basketball. Defensively, it was outstanding, but offensively, we seemed to struggle. But kind of going in before that, what were some of the points of emphasis coming into this game?
Well, overall, we thought we could pressure them, force some turnovers, and capitalize on them. And I think, other than the first 6-8 minutes of the game, that proved true. We felt like we're a little deeper than they are. We can run, and I think we did that. They came out and they played the entire game pretty well. Hit their first 6 shots, I think, and so it's hard to compete sometimes when someone's shooting 100%. They jumped out to the early lead, but I think then we closed the half 27-12 or 27-15 run for us. So happy we didn't lose composure, but our focus coming in, rebounding. In the first half, we really didn't rebound real well. Second half, we rebounded a lot better. So going into halftime, we talked about those things. Hey, I think we were 0 for 13, maybe on the 3-point shots for the first half, and definitely wouldn't think that we're going to do that in the second half, and we did end up knocking down some shots. So, we talk about those things, just say we're going to keep doing the right things, and good things will happen. Make sure we keep the defense up, but the offense needs to catch up, and it did. And like I say, they shot the ball pretty well overall, and even taking the second half into account, we didn't shoot the ball particularly well all evening, but definitely shot better in the second half than the first.
Alyssa Loudermilk, one of their better players every single year. She's real tall, real hard to defend. What was kind of the game plan against her?
Well, we just wanted to stay between her and the basket, make her shoot over top of us. We know she's going to get some points. She's really hard to stop. She's going to shoot some threes. She's going to knock some of those down. She's going to drive and finish. Sometimes it looks a little unconventional, but she's just really athletic, and similar to Kendra for us. She's got some length and she can finish. And so she's going to get hers, but we want to stay between her and the basket, make her earn them, and not give up anything easy.
Going into the game, did you know that PCC would struggle at all with the full court press?
Well, we thought we could have that effect on them. We feel like maybe didn't have the best ball handlers, and that we were a little quicker at times, and they struggle that way. So yeah, we had the game plan going in that we were going to press them.
Hannah, let's start with you. Coach, you mentioned 0 for 13, which is very uncharacteristic for us from the outside. Just from a shooter's perspective, talk to me about the mentality of, when you've got an open look, you feel like you're in rhythm and it falls out. What's going through your mind?
Well, it can be really discouraging because you're just like, man, it felt good. I thought it was going to go in. One thing Coach always says to us is next one's going in, next one's going in. So you just really got to forget that one and just move on and just have confidence for the next shot, and eventually they'll fall.
Yeah, well, they fell for you in the second half. You kind of helped to spark it from the outside as we made 7 in the second half. But in a comparison between the two halves, what do you think was working better in the second half offensively for us than in the first half?
I feel like we just kind of got into a groove. We calmed down a little bit on offense, and we just kind of let it develop. I feel like in the first half we were a little rushed and just maybe too excited. So we just kind of pulled it together and started swinging it and just taking that open look.
Brianna, let's go over to you with as Coach mentioned, in the first half it was a little bit tougher with us giving up, I think, 9 or 10 offensive rebounds. Mm-hmm. So, as you're on the floor and you're watching that happen, what are you thinking from a mental perspective of how to stop that?
Find the open body and box out. A lot of times you think you're boxing someone out and they just kind of speed right past you. And so it was really breaking down in your head where the person's at and then trying to get in front of them and staying in front of them. And I think that is where I struggle the most, is sometimes I think someone's behind me and they're not. And so we just had to really be aware of where people were at.
We really capitalized on the press tonight. What do you think were key factors in the press working so far?
Containing the ball, actually, which is what Coach yells all the time. I think we did a lot better in the press tonight than we've done in any game with containing the ball and keeping it in front of us, and then we also had, I think, Bridget and Kendra back there who were just quick getting the lob passes, so that was good.
You went on kind of a mini 6-0 run by yourself late in the game on 3 almost identical plays where you got the ball in the block. And just talk about maybe some of the, when you get the ball in the block, especially after knowing one goes in, is there a little bit of confidence that comes knowing,
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, when I miss some, then I'm kind of like, oh, I have to make it the next time. And so it was a footwork game, kind of. I don't think I've ever done that many post moves in a game ever, and you can ask him that. But just, I don't know what happened. It just the footwork came in, and I was able to get some up, and then my teammates were getting me the ball, so that it just worked out.
going from here, Coach, this is a nice way to start the second half of the season, much like we did last season, with coming back the second half of the year and rattling off a couple of big wins. Well, what do you think has been key in this 3-game stretch?
Well, I think we're getting more and more comfortable with who we are. A good example of what we've got sitting here with, Hannah in the second half knocking down some shots, Breezy being a real force inside, changed our rebounding game, changed the scoring game a little bit where they had to collapse on her, then they kick it out, and we got people knock down shots. And just recognizing, getting in the flow of that thing. And, there was a point there, even in the third quarter, where we weren't playing great offense and there just wasn't a lot of flow. But, we're going to have that. But fighting through that, getting in the flow, at this point in the season, that's happening more often, and that's resulting in some W's and some points on the scoreboard for us. So, it's fun. It's good basketball, and that's what we want to play.
New team coming up for us next. What do we got to do to make it 4?
Well, more of the same. We'll continue to work on our press. Inside-out game, we want balance, and we talk about it's one of our fundamental principles. And forcing the other team to do things that are going to be low percentage for them, make them uncomfortable, and on the offensive end, do things that are for us that we practice that are play to our strengths and just maintain composure.